Welcome back to Auditing Part 3, Lesson 3. Lesson 3 covers Chapters 5 and 6 of the textbook. Chapter 5 runs from page 27 to 29 and is titled Reports on the Processing of Transactions by Service Organizations. The material is divided into three sections labeled A, B, and C, all found on the first page. These three are discussed as follows. A, terminology. We distinguish between service organizations and user organization in this section. A service organization is essentially a subcontractor that provides a part of the accounting transactions of the user company whose statements are being audited. Each uses a different team of auditors, known as user auditors and service auditors. An example would be a payroll subcontractor, or another would be a collection agency. So these would retain their own audits and their own auditors, yet we have to work those into the audit of the company, the entity that we're doing the audit for. Item B then, what are the user auditor's responsibilities in regards to this service auditor? And Part C, what are the service auditor's responsibility in regard to the audit of the service company? Page 28 gives a sample of a report prepared by a service auditor that could be used by a user auditor team to evaluate internal controls implemented. It consists of 5 paragraphs covering scope and limitations of the audit. A second report is briefly described below that. It includes tests of controls performed for an opinion of operating effectiveness on those controls. So we have 2 examples, a larger and then a smaller one just modified. Finally, on page 29, we conclude Chapter 5 with a list of 16 questions which we will look at in class. Chapter 6 covers special considerations on pages 30 to 37. The material is presented in 4 sections as follows. Section 1, audits of financial statements prepared in accordance with special purpose framework. Item 2, reports on a single financial statement and financial elements, items or accounts from those financial statements. Item 3, a report on compliance on contractual agreements or regulatory requirements. And finally, a report on summary financial statements. Part 1 lists 4 special frameworks or special purpose frameworks. Number 1 would be a cash basis audit report. Number 2 is an accounting basis used for tax preparation. Item 3 would be report to a government regulatory agency. And item 4, a compliance report based on a contract. A sample report is displayed at the bottom of page 30, and the next page describes each paragraph together with a list of report restrictions. We will examine these restrictions in class. It's rather lengthy. Part 2, covering a single statement or a specific element of a statement, is called piecemeal opinion, and it covers 2 important issues. The first states that the piecemeal opinions may be performed independent of a full audit or in conjunction with a full audit. The second states that a piecemeal opinion should not be performed when the full audit contains a disclaimer or results in an adverse opinion. There are 2 very minor exceptions noted, but in general that would throw doubt on the second statement and might mislead people into thinking the first statement wasn't really adverse or disclaimed. A sample piecemeal report is given on page 32 and a second example on page 33. Again, we'll take a look at those in class. Part 3 lists various considerations regarding reports to a regulatory agency. A sample report is included. Note that only negative assurance can be given in these type of reports, or a report to a regulatory agency. Part 4 covers summary reports based on audited financial reports and gives a sample statement that covers this. A summary report is made up of lesser reports and should be audited in the same fashion, or should be reported in the same fashion, should say. Page 36 then gives a list of questions, and page 37 lists a compilation of non-issuer requirements of the auditors. And so we'll take a look at those in class. Again, they are a little bit lengthy. So that covers chapters 5 and 6 of the book. We've now completed 2 chapters per week. Next week we'll look at chapters 7 and 8. In time we'll finish all 14 chapters of the textbook. Thank you.